Welcome back, Princess. I'll remind you what we've done so far. So we've created the storyboard for our university's navigation or university's viewer application, and we've laid out the controllers, table view controllers that we want, and we've already wired up some of the custom code so that we have custom code associated with view controllers from our storyboard, so that we can start adding some custom behavior. And in this section, we are going to be loading up the data and then just displaying the university names here on the table view. So let's do that. Now, where do we load the data? Well, it's going to be in that first view controller, the table view controller. So that's called university's table view controller. And now we could create a property to load up, the data into, but we don't really need to do that because it doesn't need to be accessible outside of this class. So instead, we're going to go into the implementation file and just create a NS mutable array. And that's going to be our universities. So we'll have an NS mutable array of universities, and those universities will be of type university, but we don't need to specify that here. So it's within the viewDidLoad that we want to be loading up this university data. So we could, say use the jump bar, get to viewDidLoad. All right, now here we are in the viewDidLoad. Let's go ahead and load up the data. So the first thing that we'll do is we'll say universities universities NS mutable array alloc init. So we create a space in memory for that university's array to be existing. And now let's start creating some data. So we have this university class available. And that'll be a pointer. We'll just call it univ. And we need to go to the class, allocate, then init. Now, univ set file name. So the file name will be the file name of the photo associated with this particular university. So which university will go first? We'll use Stanford first. Then we'll say univ set name Stanford University. univ set notes. Stanford is based in California, USA. And actually, I'm going to be changing that in a minute with some data that I've already created, but we'll just run with that for a sec. Univ. Oh, okay. So we've actually loaded up all of our data into that university object. So now we want to load up this university object into our university's NS mutable array. So for that, we use the add object, then univ. All right, that's great. I'll be right with you. I need to fix something up. Okay, so this is sort of the pattern of what's going on. We've allocated space and memory for the NS mutable array of the universities. Then we create a new university here, load it up with data, and then add that university to the array of universities. All right. So what I've done actually is I've loaded up, or I've already prepared some data for this project. So, for example, I'll just go ahead and put in some text there. So the Leland Stanford Junior University, commonly referred to as Stanford University or Stanford American Private University, located in Stanford, California. All right, so that gives us some additional data for Stanford, but let's load up even more universities into our list. So I'll just copy and paste from the notes that I already prepared. And it's the same thing going on there. I just have to fix that up. Just a slight cleanup is needed. So I had sort of different, when I was loading up that data, I had different terminology conventions. So I need to fix that up in order for it not to be detecting errors. All right, we got Princeton there. All right, that's looking better. It's not detecting any errors. We have lots of data available to us. And let's continue on. So we have our data loaded up. Now, what do we want to do with this data? We want to display the name of the universities on the table view here. And how is that going to be accomplished? Well, we're going to be modifying our implementation file for the university's table view controller. So that's right here. And because we dragged in a table view controller, it's already providing us with some of these delegate data source methods that we need. So what are the number of sections in the table view? Well, it's one. There's one section. What are the number of rows in the section? Okay, so that's going to be returning universities count. So it's the number of universities that we loaded up into that NS mutable array. We'll get rid of the warning. Okay, now in this method, cell for row at index path, that's the real meat of what we want to do. So we now have this NS mutable array available, loaded up with the data, and we need to pull out the appropriate university and assign it to the text label for the cell. So let's see if we can figure out how to do that. So we'll say university, current university, okay, is equal to universities object at index path row. So that should pull out the current university for this particular cell. And we want to do something with that. We want to assign it to the label. Text label, text. And then current university name. Let's see if that works. We're now running it in the simulator. I use the little shortcut key. Okay. We see we're getting an error, or actually at least a warning. What's it look like in our simulator? Okay, yeah, it just broke. So what's going on there? Unable to dequeue a cell with identifier cell. Must register nib. Okay. So what that's about is we need to give the name to the cell. So you see the cell identifier. Okay, let's actually give it a custom name. So we'll call this a university cell. And we want to copy that, okay? Because we need to have a corresponding name in our storyboard. So we have to go to our storyboard, and then we have to click on that cell. And then once we've clicked on that cell, we can see in the identity or attributes inspector, there's nothing on the reuse identifier. So we need to put the name university cell into that space. And then it should wire it up properly. Let's take a look. There we go. Stanford University, Harvard University, Draper University, Yale, Singularity, Princeton. Got it. Okay, so it's going into here this this next empty, practically empty view. Doesn't have the photo and such in there yet, but we got our first screen done. In the next section, we will continue further into drilling down on the data to see the profile of the university and continue on with the functionality of this app.